Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Resurgence meta here in Warzone Season 2 Reloaded is looking a little bit different, but in a good way, because we've got a lot of super competitive options in the meta right now, specifically if you're playing a Sheikah or Urzikstan POI rotation or Vondel or Fortune's Keep. And of course, in just a little bit over half a season, we could be playing on Rebirth as well, which is very exciting. But today, we are breaking down the top 5 best loadouts for Resurgence style gameplay specifically. And we're starting off with one of my new favorites. It's very, very abstract, but it's actually so good. Real quick, perks and equipment. This is going to be the same on every single setup here today. We got the smokes, obviously, instantaneous cover whenever you need it. Knives, specifically for Resurgence, are so clutch. While they did nerf their actual damage to, regular players, there's still going to be one-shot kills on knocks, so you can get the quick little radar ping. They're obviously very clutch for that. And of course, standard perk package for me, Mountaineer, so I don't have to worry about fall damage ever. Double time, tempered, and then flex, so I can get those better footstep, sounds, of course. And then I usually go for a medic vest in game if I can find one of those. That way I'm sort of doubling up on quick, regen and quick revives at the same time, which is just very, very clutch. But initially here, this first loadout is the AMR9 built as a rifle, and then also the BP50 built as like an SMG. So we're taking an SMG and turning it into an AR, and an AR and turning it into an SMG. The AMR9 has no business having such a good TTK in the mid-range, but it does. Like, it legitimately outguns other rifles and all other SMGs, so you build it for range, and this thing absolutely dominates. Initially, I've got the integrated suppressor barrel, helps out that velocity and that range a good amount. We've got a 27-meter effective damage range, which is insane, 812 velocity. This thing works so good in the mid-range. I do have Bruen heavy support on here, makes it a lot easier to use, obviously, with the firing stability, the horizontal control being attacked. That's really, really solid there. Basic 50-round extended mag. If you wanted to jump up all the way to 100, you could do so. You're going to be a little bit slower, and this isn't the fastest build by any means already, but it's just preference based there. Like, there's no wrong answer. One's just really overkill. I do go for the glassless optic. A 2.5 times would work well here as well, but the firing aim stability here, again, just makes the gun even easier to use. Then lastly, I go for the Wolfhound stock, which just helps out with basic recoil control. Hurts your ADS speed a tad bit, but that's already not really a focus here because it's going to be slow when you focus on the mid-range effectiveness here. But yeah, this thing is surprisingly good. And the BP50 as a rifle, it was nerfed a little bit in the close range, but it's still ridiculously good here as well. Also is extremely agile for a rifle with its strafe speed, with its ability to just be aggressive. Really fun setup here. So I do go for the Zem 35 compensator here. Shortens those radar pings, helps out with the control, hurts your velo and your ADS speed a tad bit, where you can gain that back elsewhere. Like for instance with the DR6 hand stop, gaining back the ADS speed, increasing our sprint to fire, our strafe, our general movement speed, just really makes it a lot more aggressive. Basic 45 round extended mag here, no surprises there. Glassless optic here as well. It's just by far the best optic for the close to mid range. And then the Mode 40 stock helps out with some strafe speed, some general control, gonna make the weapon a lot easier to use. And like I said, this for close range gunfights works surprisingly well for a rifle. Really love the feel of this, and this as a duo is just so much fun. Next up here, we've got my main sniper loadout for Resurgence, featuring the XRK Stalker. This can one-shot this particular build up to 70 meters, which is so efficient for just general Resurgence gameplay on any map. That's a lot of one-shot headshots you can get there. Then I pair this with the MCW conversion kit, which is a surprisingly good sniper support option here. So really, you get a very aggressive setup here too. For the Stalker, I'm focused on, like I said, at least getting a decent one-shot range, and 70.1 meters is totally sufficient there. And I get that by using the suppressed barrel, and I also pair that with the high grain ammo, which also extends that range out some, while giving you 1200 velocity, which is super nice as well. Basically hit scan within that range. Elsewhere, I'm just looking for mobility and stats there. So I don't love the base optic. I do go for the 6.6 times scope. That's totally preference though. If you're okay with the base optic, you could go for a rear grip or an underbarrel. That'll help out with some mobility. Or if you want to go for a different scope, go for that. I do go for no stock. Obviously speeds up the ADS, the general movement speed, the strafe speed. Very clutch for an aggressive sniper. And then just behind the face cam here, I do have the light bolt, which is just faster rechambering speed, so I can get those shots off back to back to back a little bit quicker and get those finishes or get those knocks if I'm not getting the headshot there or from out of range. So a fantastic aggressive sniper loadout here. And of course, this MCW conversion kit really turns it into more of an SMG AR hybrid. Initially, I do have the Spirit Fire suppressor. Obviously, staying off the map is nice. If you wanted to use, a Zem 35 or something like that, you could do so as well, but this will also help out with the range and with the control, which is a nice added bonus. I do have the hand stop on here. This thing is relatively easy to use, especially in the sniper support range. So if I can speed it up, the more the merrier there, essentially. I do go for the 40 round mag. That is the max here for the conversion kit, and it's all right. I'd prefer a 50 or a 60, but 40 will suffice for what we're using it with. I also go obviously for the Jackraven conversion kit. That counts as one of the attachments, and then the glassless optic once more as well. Again, just so perfect for the close and mid range with the firing aim stability. Makes it easy, and it's a clean sight, so it's a win-win there. Ton of fun as a sniper support that we really haven't focused on all that much. And by the way, as we are going through all the loadouts here today, if you are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. It's all going to be right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. And if you enjoy the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It's always really appreciated, and it does really help the channel grow. Next up here, we got probably my favorite loadout in the season right now. We've got the SOA Subverter, which has a crazy TTK, as we've talked about previously, and the HMR9, which is one of my favorite SMGs at the moment. I love the feel of this. It's aggressive. It also has a really surprising range here, especially with this build. I initially go for no stock, which does kind of kill the recoil, so I focus on that elsewhere, but it gives me great mobility stats. That said, some players won't love the bounce that this has, so you could just switch over to the light stock and that'd be really good too, but I go personally for no stock. I go for the 50 round drum, the angled underbarrel to help out with some horizontal recoil and some stability here, so just makes the gun a tad bit easier to use. I go for the Princeps long barrel, helping out with stability and then range and velocity, so it makes it really efficient even in some mid-range fights, which I just love the versatility factor here. Lastly, Zem 35 compensator, of course, same deal as before with that. And the Subverter setup, this works so well for Resurgence. We talked about this recently with the top TTK options. Castus break to eliminate some of that horizontal recoil, makes the pattern a lot more predictable. Dozer 90 long barrel, better range, velocity, stability, control, a nice 4-in-1 combo that's going to make the weapon very easy to use, easier than it already is, which is, I mean, this thing, it's pretty point and shoot to begin with. Bruen heavy support, gonna make it even easier to use. The 50 round drum, then also the heavy stock, which is even more control. If you wanted to try and speed this up, there aren't many attachments that are great for it, but you could go for some mobility elsewhere with strafe speed or ADS, sprint to fire, whatever you wanted to. But for the mid to long range, this setup absolutely is just a laser beam. It fries and it just erases players. Its TTK is phenomenal. Hey everyone, real quick, wanted to take a second and highlight gamer advantage. Of course, in every single video, you guys see me rocking my Horizon frames, and even when I'm not recording videos, these are on all day, every day. I've said it before, I'll say it again. These are by far the most important part of my day-to-day setup. And the reason for that is that these allow me to be the most efficient I can be every single day. Wearing them, I'm getting reduced headaches, reduced eye strain, and best of all, I'm sleeping better at night, so I can wake up feeling nice and refreshed every single day to get back on that grind to make content for y'all. So if you're looking at screens for long periods of time, whether it be playing games, doing work, doing school, whatever the case is, do yourself a favor, get a pair of Gamer Advantage glasses. They offer prescription and regular lenses, a bunch of different frames and colorways, a little bit of something for everyone. And if you do want to pick up a pair, throw in code Immortal at checkout and it'll get you a nice little discount. The link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. Another really fun one here, we've got a combination of the Bruen, which was buffed, so it's even more aggressive, perfect for Resurgence gameplay, and the Renetti, which also got buffed for close range. It is a pistol at the end of the day. I think for the most part, SMGs are the more reliable secondary, but the Renetti is certainly usable in the current meta, which is pretty fun as an SMG pistol hybrid in a sense. The Bruen setup here is going to be pretty standard. We got the Spirit Fire Suppressor, range, velocity, control, Bruen heavy support yet again. For Resurgence, I go for the Ferocity barrel, extends that range and velocity out some. Doesn't do anything for the control like Horizon would, but it's pretty easy to use in the Resurgence style gunfights that we're taking as is. I also got the 60 round mag, and of course the glassless optic once more. It even works out in the long range just because it's such a clean sight, so really aggressive LMG build here. Then for the Renetti, what they ended up buffing was the close range damage on the Ferocity carbine kit, or the conversion kit that turns this into a full auto pistol slash SMG hybrid. So kind of building off of that, I go for the Eclipser rear grip, helps out with the movement speed, the sprint of fire, the strafe speed, makes it a tad bit more aggressive. I do go for the 30 round mag versus the 50. The 50 is pretty slow, all things considered. This is not a super fast pistol after you put the conversion kit on, so having 50 weighs me down a little bit too much for my liking. It's an option though if you're okay with the slowed down speed. I also go for the Cepharic vertical grip here, helps out with mobility in terms of strafe speed and movement speed, and a little bit of control, so makes it easier to use. Then I go for the Sonic Suppressor, gives me some better velocity and range, and the range on this thing's actually pretty good where it's got the fast TTK, so extending that is honestly pretty clutch. I know not everyone's gonna love the iron, so if you had to swap something out for that, I'd probably recommend either the underbarrel or the rear grip for, you know, a glassless or a red dot or something like that. But overall, as a pistol option, this is probably the best in the game. And then lastly, here we got another really fun one, the Iron Sight Tac Eradicator, which is actually just really reliable. It's incredibly easy to use, so its realistic TTK is actually much more competitive than what its on paper TTK might indicate. And I pair this with the Ram 9. Another goated SMG. This, the AMR, and the HMR9 are obviously all the clear top 3 choices, so you can't go wrong with any 3 of those. For this Iron Sight Tac Eradicator build, I'm pretty much just focusing on making it easy to use. So I got the core stock on here, helps out with control and firing aim stability. I got high velocity just because you don't really need an extended mag. The rear grips aren't phenomenal. Like, if you wanted to speed it up, you could do so, but it's not really super important on an LMG. We don't need an optic. Lasers aren't all that great, so why not increase the velocity? It helps out nicely. We got the heavy underbarrel on here, Spirit Fire Suppressor yet again. Then I go for the Conquer 70 long barrel, just better range and velocity here. So this thing fries. 1400 velo is crazy, especially for Resurgence. Anywhere on the map, you're going to be able to take a gunfight with this thing, and it's actually going to hit. Then I pair this, like I said, with the Ram. No real changes to this, is just a general setup here. I'm going for the Zem 35 compensator. Of course, the Imperator light barrel is pretty good. You can mess around with various different setups for this though, like different mixing and matching. The Motion Tac Pad stock is still really good, but if you wanted more control, you could go for a 3.4 pad stock. That'd work well. The Retort 90 grip tape is solid for better control, but again, if you wanted to go more on mobility, you could swap that for an underbarrel, let's say. 50 round mag is my last one there, but really the Ram is super versatile in how many different builds are actually effective. Just depends if you want to lean more towards control and ease of use or crazy aggression. Really is no wrong answer, it's just a matter of preference. But that being said, those are the top 5 best Resurgence loadouts here post Season 2 Reloaded. That's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee that every single day you're up to date with news, updates, patch notes, and meta breakdowns, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.